Well, ladies and gents, happy Friday. Good to see you. This show is, of course, brought to you by BetUS. Hope you guys are enjoying the fall holiday festive Merry Christmas decorations. Let me know down in the comments section. Is it too early? Is it right on time? Love to know from you guys. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. Of course, the show is brought to you by BetUS. And as you can tell by the title, thumbnail, when it rains, it pours, boys. Okay? We got some news that dropped today in regards to Mr. Todd Golden, the basketball coach. It just seems, can't get out of the way of our own selves here, boys. I don't know. We're gonna talk about that. Then we'll talk about Mr. DJ Lagway as well. A lot of heat heating up. Still on the report as questionable. Was reported game time decision. We got multiple reports kind of trying to pull different directions. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. Reason that T leaves. Some thoughts on that. So let's get into it. So Mr. Todd Golden, let's read what's happening here. Okay. Now we're gonna approach this as responsible as possible, okay? In any circumstances, there are always three sides to the story. You've got the accuser, the defendant, and then the truth, right? We've got one side of it right now, which is the accuser of the situation, accusing Todd Golden, and we're going to read here now what he is being accused of, and it gets a little dicey. For YouTube preferences, I think we can't say certain words, but here we go. Todd Golden is facing allegations and SA. You guys can hopefully fill in that blank there. And harassment and stalking multiple women, according to reports from the Alligator. This is let's kind of follow along here. We're going to play a little investigator. The Alligator is a journalistic, is that the word? A journal company in Gainesville. I believe it's brought together by students, but I mean, it's not just like a kind of like some kids' journal. I can't even think of the word that I'm looking for, but you guys see what I'm picking up what I'm putting down here. They also wrote an article about Ben Sasse, the president, that kind of brought some things to light. When that article was written, not too shortly after there, Ben Sasse stepped away, which he pointed to the health of his wife, but you wonder, how much of those things in that article had a little bit of truth to it, okay? Just keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this. The UF student newspaper obtained documents from a former complaint filed with the University of Title IX office on September 27th, so a little bit over a month ago. Here are the allegations that we're looking at. Now, they did speak, and we're going to play a video about a guy talking about this as well that works for the Alligator. The school has not spoke on this, and they said they asked him to speak on this before they released the article, but due to law that UF can't comment on Title IX inquiries, complaints, or investigations. So that was kind of their loophole, I guess you can say, of not being able to speak on it. So right here, the allegations in the investigation are SA and SE, sex exploration, including unwanted sexual advances, requesting sexual favors, and sending photos of his genitalia, according to the Alligator report. Title IX complaint also alleges various occasions of stalking and cyber stalking, including repeated liking and unliking and following and unfollowing multiple women to get their attention, including UF students. Two women, both former UF students, spoke with the Alligator and were quoted anonymously. Their comments in the report accused Golden of sending unsolicited photos of his genitalia while the team was traveling, aggressive Instagram stalking, and stalking them in person. It's gross. We're being honest here. It is unreal. Now, again, there's always two sides. So if we're going to look at this and say, well, and here's the unfortunate thing. I think we can all have learned from what we've seen over the last couple of years with these allegations that there has been at times, right, it's gone the other way where it's been almost kind of an overcry. And so now I think we're in a weird place as a society that we don't react or have a knee-jerk reaction like maybe we would have had a couple of years ago. And that's kind of how I'm approaching this. But here's my thing. Here's how I look at this. If there's a photo floating around of old TG's sling-a-wing, the thing's a wrap. Here's my other part. I don't think the Alligator who wrote this, who brought all this together, again, they got this complaint on the 27th of September, now just releasing the article. I don't believe they come up with this if they ain't got a little bit of smoke. You see what I'm putting down? I don't think Mr. Golden's going to be coaching probably the next game, which I'll look and see when that is now. But I think it's a wrap, boys. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Now, look, I could be overreaching here. Like I said, their next game is on Monday. Yeah, there definitely will be some things wrapped up before then, but it looks like not a matter of if, but when. And here we are once again talking about a top sport coach on the hot seat. This one, obviously, much, much worse. Cat's only 39 years old. I'm pretty sure he's married and has a kid. Maybe he doesn't. I thought he did. But Larry Cox. Billy sent me a nudity pic. I would like to find. Unbelievable. It's on. I don't get it. I can't even wrap my mind around it. Let me play this clip here from ESPN. They had a guy that worked for them, kind of, go over this a little bit better than what I just did. So this is a student reporter, Jack Meyer, on 98.1 85th at ESPN Gainesville. So take a listen to what he had to say here, and then we'll talk about that.
Glad I could be
on the phone. Jack, if the listeners don't know, he is the co-sports editor at the Alligator, the independent Florida Alligator. Jack, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. I'm glad I could be here. I wish I was here under, better circumstances, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, Jack, again, thanks for your time. So first, we just want to know about how this story actually came to your attention.
So earlier in the week, we received an anonymous email from a UF whistleblower. When we opened up the email, we saw that there was a laundry list of complaints against Todd Golden and potential sexual misconduct. From there, we just started looking into whatever leads we had. We found potential names, potential sources, and from there it was just full steam ahead. But the way that the story came about was there was a whistleblower that reached out to us earlier in the week.
Okay, Jack, so we have all seen the screenshot of the document. What exactly does this mean for Todd Golden?
I mean, honestly, it's really going to depend on what Strickland and the athletic administration wants to do next, because there's a lot of moving pieces here. The university did not reach back out to us in time for publication for our story. I'm sure they're going to have a response of their own. It really could mean anything for Todd, although I honestly don't. This is going to, if he does end up staying with Florida, which is probably going to be a tough possibility moving forward for him, but I really do think this is going to be a serious blemish on him if he does manage to stick around even.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just mentioned, Jack, that the University of Florida didn't get back to you, neither did the Gators men's basketball team, and that's the question that everyone wants to know right now is what is their response? Can you kind of shine a little bit of light, because we've seen things about Title IX, that being the reason why they can't comment on that. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. The University of Florida, when it comes to Title IX processes, to my knowledge at least, they have to refrain from commenting just to avoid disrupting any potential investigations. We are hoping to get at least some kind of response from the team itself or from Golden himself, but a lot of it is just at this point just making sure that all the proper steps are taken.
So look, a couple of things we need to unpack now that we know we heard that conversation. So him saying that he believes that he's gone or it's going to be a big blemish, like it leads me to believe that there's more that isn't being released in this article, because it's not a blemish. An accusation is not a blemish, right? I mean, it is, but if you're just being accused and there's zero evidence, it could be a little bit of a stain, just because why are you even involved in those conversations? And if you can't even counter no, this is just completely untrue. But again, there's definitely some smoke there. And if one of these things are true, right? If they're able to prove one of the multiple things that he was accused for, it's a wrap. So I think it's, like we said, it's a donezo. Now, Money makes a good point here. And I saw this throughout the day as well, too, that apparently this happened this past April, that this was brought to light. The staff knew about it. And if you guys recall, Golden got an extension, I think, in May. So after the initial complaint was brought to, and they were aware of it and didn't do anything about it and kind of ignored it, or there was an investigation and they felt that it was, I don't know, right? If it was investigated, if it was known, and now we're here at this point, you kind of have to raise the questions of what's up with Strickland, because we've got a handful of situations now under the Strickland era that don't look too good. The other thing, we got the message yesterday from Strickland And the moment this dropped, talking to my buddy, I said, look, the news for Napier may quickly just go away because the man that has been protecting and supporting Napier just to be there could be gone. And now things change drastically if that were to happen. Now, I believe probably the line under that would probably still keep things going. But for the ones that wanted Napier gone, that is something to think about. And again, I'm not trying to bring that, fire Napier situation, but you have to kind of wonder, how does this play itself out? I don't know. It's not good. Yeah, just 24 hours after the Strickland letter. The timing of it, I think, is a little strange. Again, the fact that you've had it, I don't think it takes 30 days to write this kind of thing. There's always strategy behind these things of when they're released, I'm sure, to get as much attention as possible. But we'll see. The jokes that were flowing on Twitter today, unreal. $5 from Zahara says, our new slogan for the University of Florida athletics is always some bullshit. It's always some bullshit. Go get it. Man, it's unbelievable. Can we just give me a day? Give me a day. Mama says, regardless of this awful news, smash the like button for High Top Sports and keeping us rock and roll. I love it. Thank you, Mama. Be sure, again, to smash the like button and subscribe. He swept the first two cases under the rug quietly. Speaking of Mr. Scott Strickland there. Yeah, look, it's just, I don't know, boys. Doesn't look good. I think the longer this is put off to from the university, there needs to be a statement, I would say, pretty quickly. Just, this is dirty. This is nasty. I do recall, I think, after the Alligator wrote about Ben Sass as president, some time had passed. I don't think they responded to that either. And look, when you're kind of that big of a corporation, you just ignore it until you get your bearings straight. So they kind of have that luxury. But I think given the fact that a game is going to be happening in just a matter of days, something's going to have to happen. They're going to have to say something or keep him off of the court. So that will probably be their first statement, is that he won't be coaching that game. I could be wrong. And if he coaches that game, then they feel extremely confident in what they're doing there. Well, boys, let's talk about tomorrow's game here now with the Texas Longhorns. So, a couple of things. DJ Lagway is still questionable on the report tonight, meaning they have how this works is if they put him out tonight, it's out officially. The probable questionable kind of levels it. There's definitely loopholes in this thing, so it doesn't mean as much as it probably should, but he's still questionable as of now. Pete Thankos from On3 kind of led like a little bit of a clickbaity title of like, hey, he's looking to play. I think there was some legitimate conversations from what we were hearing earlier in the day that there was a possibility to play. I saw somebody who's connected well to the program tag at DJ's dad saying good choice, leading me to believe that he's probably not playing, which I think we all can agree is the best idea. But there definitely, I would say, was an effort and an attempt to make him play. Now, some say, oh, it was a trick or, trying to keep Texas out of the loop and keep them guessing. I don't think you're throwing any surprises with Mr. Aiden Warner, boys. I'm just going to keep it a buck with you, okay? But, look, I like the fact that he was practicing this week and making strides, but I'd rather get through this game and him be healthy for LSU and Ole Miss and obviously FSU. 2 games are at home, and then, of course, FSU, those games that right now would be my priority. So I think I believe it's the right move. We said it on Wednesday. I said I would be shocked if he played, and I feel like it'd be rushed back if they were to do that. So, look, I think, people will see in a few articles, people are taking advantage of this because DJ Lagway was a big name, and you're trying to either sell optimism or pessimism. I think that the reality of this is he's not going to play. We got a super chat, $5 from OG Shark Humper. I love that. So this is Marco Wilson's fault? It's got to be at this point, boys. What is it? The shoe throw, the 15-year curse of Tim Tebow. Is this like the final year, right? Like it just gets burnt down, like the rise of the Phoenix next year. And we've got to go through this last little just bumpy road. I don't know. It's not fun. It's not fun. I can tell you that. I can tell you that much. While we're talking about this Texas game, I believe the spread's moved from when we last spoke. So let's look at it right now because, again, this show is brought to you by BetUS. And, of course, the spread was 21.5. I believe it's moved to 22 now. And I think that it'll continue to move when we get more news on the DJ Lagway situation, on how that plays out. But head on over to betus.com. Use the code YouTube150. Get back 150% on your first deposit, 125 on your second 2 deposits. And chime in on this game. That 48, it's an interesting one. I kind of like the over there. But I think their concern is Florida might not be able to put up any numbers. I think, again, the quarterback situation plays a factor into that, but you could see being 34-20, right? They think they're going to score 21 points. They think Texas is going to just win 21-0 or 30-0. 48 seems a little low. Again, no DJ Lagway. Can this offense get rolling? We only scored 7 with Mr. Warner, so probably something to think about. But what did Todd do? A little late to the show, Jay Diz. He got a little spicy with it, okay? Did something he shouldn't have. But yeah, be sure to check out BetUS, boys and girls, and hop in on that. So let's see your thoughts and comments. Our program will never be dead. I don't think it'll be dead. It'll just be a little bumpy for a bit. Yeah, 21's a bit much, Mr. Bassman. I think so. I think it's a little aggressive. The defense has been playing a bit better, but we're dealing with some injuries going into that game, but I thought so. What is cool, we get to do horns down tomorrow. That should be fun. I never got to be a part of that. You know what I mean? We haven't as Gator fans anyways. So, James. Chris Wallace. Yeah, what's going on? You guys are a little bit late to the show. We kind of talked about it already, but Mr. Todd Golden is being accused for SA. Allegations of stalking, sending pictures of his genitalia to former students at UF. It's not a good look. Not good for Florida, the brand. I mean, we have had a treacherous road under the Strickland era with quarterbacks. We had the Kitna situation, which again, I mean, you can't control the people, right? But we had that happen. Another coach, a couple other coaching incidents that have happened as well with other sports. We had obviously the Rashada situation go down. The last 5 to 8, 6, 7 years have not been kind to the Gator brand and to its fan base, and just nastiness. And look, I'm not obviously a component of keeping this man at all. This is awful timing. Like we were kind of like getting through this football season because this basketball team had some extreme promise, extreme hope. Ranked 7th currently on On3 recruiting. Man's been doing a great, good job on the court. A little weird off the court though. And that's where we stand right now. 280 strong, boys. Be sure to again just smash the like button and subscribe. Of course, Muddy wants a BYU guy. Fire Strickland yesterday. Go Gators. Yeah, I think this could be the nail in the coffin, and it should be, especially if the other things that we heard in the sense of this staff knew a few months ago, handled it with how they felt was right of handling it, and now it comes up again because clearly there was another allegation filed, so they felt that it wasn't handled properly. That's what that tells me. If what I read is true, again, everything's moving so quickly, and that's how news works nowadays, that the staff knew about this back in April, extended him after that, and now it's coming back up again after another thing was filed on September 27th. Leads you to believe, again, the girls that were impacted felt that, we weren't taken seriously on our first complaint. So, let's see here. Basketball team is pretty good, and now they have to go through this. Yeah, it's tough, man. I did meet the assistant basketball coach. Seemed like a good dude, so I imagine he would step in, but we'll see. Did one of the assistants know about it, Muddy? I did read somewhere where possible maybe that could be a possibility as well. Dumb, just freaking dumb, dude. I love the emoji there. It's mind like let's talk about this like we're at the I'm in shambles tonight, boys. Like at the water cooler. Okay, let's kind of break this down a little bit. Like let's chit chat. I talk about this with my buddy all the time of like people cheating, right? I got my wife. She's sitting here hanging out with me. I don't know. I mean, he was obviously throwing himself at these chicks. But you obviously hear about people cheating, doing these things. And I'm like, I don't know how they find the time to do this shit. I'm going to keep it a buck, boys. Like, this guy's coaching a basketball team, doing all these things. Like, when do you have time to be going out here and doing that? Like, you have to go out of your way to do these things. You know what I mean? Like, it's another job. Because not only do you have to go out of your way to do these things and be a weirdo, right? It's a whole other process, I would imagine, to think of, like, hiding your phone and, like, creating basically a second life. Like, that's just some weird-ass behavior for me. Like, shit's wild, dude. Shit's wild. And maybe he felt like he was the dog because he's, big man on campus, and maybe a couple girls gave him some attention, and he felt like he could just go his way. I don't know. I just feel like it's... Maybe you've seen the things on TikTok. It's like, would you ever cheat on me, baby? I ain't got enough energy to even piss. You think I'm going to go through the energy of talking, working that thing through, figuring out a time and a place? I'm exhausted talking about it. Like this, you're coaching a basketball team, bro. Like, how do you, like, you have to be, how big does your ego have to be to think that you're going to just send out a sausage pick, right? Just sling it out like it's breakfast, and nobody's going to say anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, are you out of your damn mind? That's like, there's two problems with that. Either your ego is that bad, which is gross, or you feel like you were that invincible and you clearly have got away with it before. You know what I mean? Like that. Like, really think about the psyche with that. Crazy to me. Crazy to me. Chris Cincinnati said this was known by some for almost a year. School has been looking the other way. Dude was in a relationship with a female athlete, was not living with his wife and kids. If there's mayhem. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. I don't get it. Wow, sausage picker. Sending pics from your phone is so amateur. Bro, you know what I'm saying? He wants control. It's just, dude, there's... Like, dude, I don't know. Yeah, good point, Cole. Please tell me there's a particular reason why he wasn't arrested. They say there's proof, right? So that part I don't believe was released unless I missed that part, but I'm assuming there has to be some sort of proof. But that's a good point. Like, why hasn't more happened? And that is a solid point because if you have something, right? If you have something with some smoke, you would think that you kind of like the Kitna thing. There wasn't even a paper written about it. The cops were at his door and arrested his ass. So honestly, that's actually a really good point. If there is anything that they could bring to the police department with, you would assume there could be something. Like, I'm not caught up in my law that much, but I could call my buddy Elliot. He kind of read it. I sent it to him, and he goes, "Look, there's a very vague allegations with these things." We got Zahir $5 says, "So does this mean that Scott's scrotum sack Strickland will be up termination?" It's a possibility, but again, who's at this point? The interim president, I would say, would be forced, but I don't know. I would love for Billy Donovan to come back, dude. What I would give, man. What I would give. Muddy says, I kind of feel for Strickland because how do you know these guys are freaks during their interviews? Do you ask questions like, are you a stalker or a freak? I don't know. He kind of gives off freaky vibes, to be honest with you. I mean, kind of look at him, it gives you a little bit of like psychopath killer. Like, I mean, that's just off the rip. I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't feel for Strickland, though, if he hit it up, if he covered it. But yeah, I don't think going into this that, hey, he's got a little weirdo to him. I can't read that, Lee. I can't. Yeah, I mean, no. I can. He's not. It's not that, Lee. It's how you go about it. Yeah, I don't feel bad for Strickland. That's wild. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm, boys. Well, didn't think the last 48 hours would unfold like this, or Florida football, or just Florida athletics in general. It is a unfortunate time, but I think Cole kind of raised a really good point there, is why hasn't there been an arrest if these allegations have any proof to it? Let me read what Elliot, High Top Sports lawyer, what he said. I sent him the paperwork that was shared, basically like the official documentation of the allegations. And when Napier was being sued, I sent it to him too, and he kind of he called in. If you guys watch that show, gave us some insight of the severity of it. Is there any proof behind it? The hell's their text messages? Right. So he said those allegations superficially are fairly weak in his opinion. Again, from a lawyer's perspective, because I feel like the allegations are weak, meaning you like. Again, there's not saying they're not weird, but just on a law perspective, like, hey, like that's what they are. There's nothing illegal about taking a photo of someone in public. SCOTUS, whatever that is, has made clear that there is zero expectation of privacy if you are out in public, thus celebrities getting hounded, etc. There's also nothing illegal about sending the photo to the subject of that photo. Can it be creepy and weird contextually? Sure. Doesn't mean it's illegal. So maybe that's why there hasn't been an arrest. Again, he's not looking at it to defend Todd. It's simply of like, hey, from a legal standpoint, that's where those things stand. Now with Title IX and it being, I think with a former student or a student, that plays a different factor. Again, law-wise, I don't know, but again, that's kind of something to keep in mind of maybe why he hasn't been arrested yet. Because technically, I guess by that, no laws have been broken. Again, weird behavior. If there's truth and there's proof behind that, I don't care if it's legal or not legal. These girls clearly feel like, hey, they didn't want the photos, right? And I don't want my head coach of a basketball team acting in that manner. So I'd be shocked if he stayed. Again, just a little bit of truth. A super chat. Let's check it out here from Jeremy Fennel. Todd gives off golden shower vibes. Come on, bro. What's up, bro? Scott should have felt that in the interview. I tried to listen. I'm telling you, boys, Twitter had me in shambles today with the memes on this. Like Twitter is a special place, boys. Okay, it literally is like you think about it. It's kind of how the boys just kind of talk. It's great. Greg, so SCOTUS is Supreme Court of the U.S. Well, thank you, Greg. Thank you for that insight. So I love the chat. But I had a lawyer today said he's done regardless optics. Okay. Oh, Buddy Martin had a lawyer on today. Okay. Good stuff. UF sends UF up, you're fired. What happened to UF is they agreed and made a deal with Satan for them to win 2 rings. That's what happened. Here we go. Chris says, the Title IX, the burden of proof is merely preponderance of the evidence in a criminal case is beyond a reasonable doubt. 2 very different standards there. Another super chat. Twa to a golden. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Deal with the devil must have happened. Dude, Strickland has a bad track record. Maybe it's time to send him to Starkville. I mean, I think we all can agree on that. Closest thing that reminds me of this was the Bobby Petrino incident, cheating on his wife with a student and even crashing his bike with her on it. Wasn't he shortly released after that too? Bro, how do these coaches, I mean, obviously I'm not living in that world, right? And again, someone said like, hey, if you got, young females throwing themselves at you. Again, I don't condone those actions, but it's like, how do you, like, you're trusting a lot there. You're trusting some young chick to not rat you out. I don't like the balls on these guys, dude. Cojones. Look, the things we get mad for Billy not having, right? These guys have it, but they clearly use their balls in the wrong way. You know, you know what I'm saying? I need you to use that aggression on the court in coaching, not elsewhere. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Agreed. Yeah, he was let go. And then Reed hires somehow. I mean, look, time heals at all, right? Petrino, he went. Where did he go? We took. What's his face? Our point guard from his team. I can't think of his team now. But that's Rick Pitino. That was Rick Pitino, I think. Yeah, Bobby Petrino. Bobby Petrino is, Rick Pitino. I thought Rick Pitino had that. Rick had an issue too. Bobby is he's the coach of, he's at Arkansas back, right? He's back at Arkansas. Yeah, he's right back at it again, boys. I mean, didn't Lane do that? Like Lane's current girlfriend, wasn't she in school too? Bro, it's just wild, dude. Badger's out? Shut up. You shut the front door. "27 minutes ago. Here we go. Son of a bitch. All right, here we'll go over this report that was released 27 minutes ago. And Damian George. Oh, son of a bitch. Well, tomorrow, boys, is going to be a fun one. We are now out Badger and Eugene Wilson on the wide receiver side. DB, Jakeem Jackson, Jason Marshall, Devin Moore, all starters. Devin Manuel, Damian George, out. Funny how you guys were hating on my boy Damian, and now we all love him. That's a big loss. That's a big loss on the line, especially with no DJ Lagway. Now, his says questionable, but I think we can all agree he's probably not going to play. Oh, man. Heading to Austin, Texas, man. Going to be a rough one. Guys, we got almost 330 strong in here. Be sure to smash that like button. Will Tank and Mizell going to get to all the reps? That's true. Tank, when he came in, I think it was it the Sanford game? Hawkins? Yeah. Big touchdown pass from DJ. Not DJ, not going to be in, but played some great time. Mizell has really kind of stepped into his own. So we are utilizing our depth this season, to say the least. Hoof Hardy, good to see you, man. Good to see you, bub. Do we think Eugene is staying? I mean, there's some feelers he might not. I don't know. I want to believe that he is, but I just, body language and how he's looked, I'm sure he's going to have a ton of offers. Now, there have been some reports from, I think, On3 and a couple others that there is a belief that the $26 million buyout that was collected, remember that kind of that article that came out, is now going to be intended to be used for the portal. Again, show me before I believe that, but that has been at least spoken to existence. So the reason I bring that up is I think that's going to play a huge factor into keeping Eugene Wilson. Look, DJ Lagway coming back, that has to excite you if you are Eugene. I think the ability to get him into open space and what DJ can bring to the offense. So obviously, I think these guys want to play on a winning team, have good NIL opportunities. Who was it? Nick Scorton, I think, from South Carolina. They're in works and talks of like a $1 to $2 million deal from South Carolina. I think it's Nick Scorton. Is it Nick Scorton? Nick Harbor? Nick Harbor, I believe. Nick Scorton plays for, I think, A&M. Yeah, Scorton is an A&M. Harbor, Nicky Harbor, I believe, is asking for a $1 to $2 million NIL deal. That's what they're working on. Unreal. Unbelievable. And it's the prices are going to keep growing. They've got to figure this thing out, or it's just going to, they're going to get it somewhere. Someone's going to give it to them. That's what the chat's saying now. A couple more things, boys, and then we're going to rock and roll here. DJ is a game time decision. Look, so 100% Sam, but I have good reason to believe that he won't play. More than happy to be wrong, but feel like he's going to be gone. Hey, Callie Berbria, that's our lawyer, guys. I was just reading our text earlier today. You want to call in and maybe elaborate some more on your thoughts, give us a lawyer perspective in this scenario here with Mr. Todd Golden and the allegations. I think we would all appreciate it. I can shoot you the link if you want to hop in. He's California time, so it's like 6 o'clock there. He's just getting warmed up. So, I know. California. I know. We still love him, though. We still love him. He walks around in American flag overalls. He's good, boys. Oh man, Bailey might be the best coach at the moment. I mean, Bailey looks like a saint now. Looks like a saint. Any word on these potential flips? Yeah. So look, let's talk about that as well too. There's Stefan Shivers. Keith Nabier tweeted he currently decommitted today from Georgia. 2025 defensive lineman 6'5", 370. He decommitted. Keith Nabier tweeted out one of Gator's targets. Something to think there. Callie Burberry's going to jump on here, boys, and talk about the Todd Golden, our very own lawyer for High Top Sports. Look, boys, we're big time now. Okay, we've got lawyers, we've got Santas in the background. I mean, we've peaked. We've peaked. Let's get this man in here. Let's talk. Anytime, like, this guy's incredible. Callie's the man. We're Facebook friends too. That's how tight we are. I mean, I guess if he's your lawyer, you should be. It's coming to you, big guy. You're still listening, waiting. Look at Joe in here. All right, we will get him in here shortly, boys and girls. Andrew Apple, what's up, man? How's Linky doing, Andrew? I see the wife's posts every now and then. It's been seeming like it's been going well, man. So, good to see. I see the photos of him walking around, looking like a stud. I love it, man. I love it. Tramel Jones, 4-star quarterback. That's another one. Is a hire? Yeah, that's on the Florida list. Look, the one pro, which we didn't talk about too much yesterday about the report from Strickland, is that the whole idea of it was to how can we help with recruiting, and that was a big thing yesterday with that noise. I think it settled that down a little bit, and the whole idea was, can this translate to recruiting? I'm getting you, Callie. Our very own High Top Sports lawyer.
What is up?
What's up with you, Beba?
For the
How are
record,
you, man?
I'm wearing the proper attire. I don't know what MIT's has to do with this channel, but it's fine.
I rep.
It's all good.
I'm just repping my alum.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah.
I mean, MIT sort of trumps Florida, so I'll give you props if that's accurate.
Well, why would I just have an MIT hoodie? These people just buying MIT hoodies off Amazon?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
That's exactly what I did. So let's talk.
Oh.
I'll tell the story again. I've told it before, but we did this is how dumb I am. This what makes it even funny. When at my work, we decided to do Ivy League Fridays, where you wear your favorite Ivy League hoodie on Friday, like your Yales, your Browns, your Harvards. So I got an MIT hoodie. MIT's not Ivy League.
That's a good point. It really isn't. No, it's not. Well,
swing and a miss on that one. But what's cool though,
yeah, you were thinking Harvard and you got MIT. That's fine.
Well, what's cool is that because nobody just like reps MIT hoodies like fashionably. So when I rep it, people are like, "Did you go to MIT?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." Like I can sell it pretty easily because like why would somebody have an MIT hoodie? There's no reason why unless you went there. So now it's kind of legendary. All right, let's talk about it. Ivy League. We've got this. I was reading our text, kind of how you said like legally, because somebody made a point. Cole mentioned like, hey, if there's any proof at all of this, can't they arrest him? But then I read your text, and based on the allegations, I guess none of it's actually illegal. It's just weirdo behavior.
So let me do my lawyer speak here.
You're covering your mic.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Let me do my lawyer speak real quick. I do not hold myself out as a Title IX expert, nor do I practice in sort of sexual harassment or any of those areas. My point was that if you read the underlying allegation, essentially Todd took a picture of somebody And according to the allegation, it sounded like they were in public. I think everyone that lives in America now has seen enough of TMZ that the Supreme Court has made it clear that we as citizens do not have any expectation of privacy when we're in public, right? So you, me, we're walking down the street. If some rando just came up and started filming you, is it weird? Absolutely. Is it creepy? Sure. Is it illegal? No. So my point here was, look, I don't think it's appropriate for the head basketball coach of the University of Florida to be taking pictures, especially of other staff members if they don't know it, and then sending that to them. That has creepy vibes, right? I don't know if it's illegal though, right? And I certainly don't. I feel like contextually speaking, there would need to be some additional underlying action, right? Did you send did you take the picture and then you sent it to them on their cell phone, but you didn't actually have the cell phone number, right? That would raise an issue of, well, how did you get my cell phone number? Conversely, when I read it the first time, I'm like, well, how was he sending that picture? Was he sending it to somebody else's cell phone? And if he had the cell phone number, what type of relationship then exists? Because as I myself, as a joke, sometimes if I see a friend in the distance, I will take a picture of them and then send it to them, right? I'm not sure, but I have that type of relationship with them where I'm just sort of just being funny, right?
Sure.
But sure. if there's this pattern in practice where we're doing all of these things plus some additional thing, then it becomes, I feel like, an issue, right? So just the bald face allegation that, hey, this guy took a picture of me while I was in a public parking garage and then sent it to me. I read that and go, yeah, it's creepy. Why are you doing that?
Sure.
But is it illegal? Sure. I don't think that's illegal. If it's in public, right? So if
she's like in her house or in her room and you're looking through the window, that's trespassing,
totally
right?
Different.
Okay.
Right.
I think you make a good point though, which how did you get the number? Now, if you went through somebody else to get the number, that's still not illegal. It's just weird, right? Because it's just
the whole thing has creepy vibes. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah, no, we're not trying to justify the actions. I think is how do you? It's just the legal aspect of it is how can you approach this? And somebody again said, how can I not arrest him? Well, it's like you're saying, legally he hasn't done anything. It doesn't really matter in my opinion whether it's legal or not. The shit's weird.
Right. I don't sit here tonight and pretend to know what the what you actually need to prove to arrest somebody for stalking, right? But I'm sure that I'm probably doing it again. I'm sure the internet sleuths can get out there and just Google stalking state of Florida, what the elements of that crime are.
Okay.
Maybe one of them is, doing something that would be creepy, but there's usually more than one element to a crime, right? There's usually a list. You got to get all of them, and then you got to prove them, right? The attorney in me just saw taking a picture and then sending. The weird part was he took a picture and then sent it to them. That's what I thought. Was like, well, wait.
So he sent a picture of his sausage too, and is a sausage party. Yeah, that was confirming the allegations that he sent his genitalia to them as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and if I was Mr. Golden's attorney, I would probably advise him not to do that ever. I think
that's too late. It's already been sent. The slong's been sent.
About, like, what is it with this?
Is that illegal though?
Ooh, the attorney in me is going to say I don't know. If you're putting me on the spot. Well, for example, like I'm married. If I wanted to send a sausage pic to my wife, I don't think there's nothing.
Again, I think there's a loophole, right? Because if she gave him his number, you kind of are. It's conceding to
right. Consent is always a big deal in any of these types of cases. So that was the other factual thing that I wanted to know was, wait a second, if you're sending this picture, how are you sending the picture? What's the platform? Like, we're making an assumption that it was it Snapchat?
True. Which you still need a number for you still have to add each other on Snapchat, but if it was through like an Instagram DM, that isn't consensual, right? Because you're not. But I mean, you hear about guys sending their things on that all the
Yeah,
time. Again, I don't know if that's breaking any law. I don't know. That's just what you're here for. I just talk about it.
I mean, I would think that if you don't have consent, I would imagine it's sort of similar to like flashing somebody, which I'm sure is probably illegal in the state of Florida.
Okay.
That's probably illegal in the state of California as well. So,
okay. Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
if you think about it, I don't think you just go around just sending your sausage to people and get away with it. I don't think that's.
No. That's again. Let's just make this very clear. Very, very bad idea. I don't understand.
You only condone it to your wife.
How old is Todd? What?
You only condone it
to
your
wife. It's your wife, unless you're not married anymore, and maybe she's moved on, and then you're doing it to harass. That would be probably inappropriate. The general look. If anyone gets anything from this conversation, guys, keep your sausage in your pants. Probably don't take pictures of it and send it. Just as a general rule, your life will be a lot better, right? I mean, how much does Todd make? Is Todd not married? I don't really know anything about. I'm
got kids.
Like,
does he have kids? Yeah, he's got 2 of them.
Oh, Todd, what are you doing?
That's what I said.
Dude, he needs.
He's got a son and a daughter.
So this is the thing that I do want to throw out there. Look, this absolutely sucks for Todd's wife. Like right now in that house, it's a little tense, and I feel like a lot of times this gets lost. And I'm in no way condoning his behavior, but I do think it's important to have sort of a level head about these types of things. The allegations that I read were just that, right? They were just allegations. It's not as if he has been adjudicated in any sort of way. So at this point, I feel like it's a really bad look. But there's at this point not much you can do about it. I truly hope that if any sort of meat products were sent via Snapchat, that didn't happen. I just don't.
What if you're again? This is more of like a lawyer perspective, but if you're, because right now I think you put yourself in UF shoes, not necessarily Todd's shoes. It's a little bit different situation. But in the UF shoes, how do you handle this? How do you respond to this?
Right. So if
you're representing UF, and in a sense, I mean, I'd imagine you would have some sort of PR response.
No, so I like solving problems. The first thing I'm doing is I'm getting way out in front of this thing. I don't know what their policies and procedures would be, but I would want to talk to Todd. Like, I'm on the phone. I'm actually probably not even on the phone. I'm probably having a face-to-face meeting with Todd immediately, and sort of figuring out, look, what exactly happened. Because I assume that the UF has a Title IX office, right? That's where this complaint came from. So I assume that office has done its due diligence and sort of has whatever side of the story exists from the complainant portion, right? Whoever actually filed the complaint, they've given their story. The Title IX office thinks that it has merit, so they're now sending out this letter. I would immediately have a meeting with Todd, but that assumes though that Todd is probably lawyered up if he's smart. That's the first thing that, look, I don't know if Todd watches the show. It's the first thing I would tell him is like,
he's probably tuned in. He's probably looking for advice as we speak.
Yeah, free legal advice. Don't speak to anyone unless you have your counsel present.
Not even
Um,
the school.
you were just no, I wouldn't.
Wow.
Look, the I'm really big at this point in my life on experience. The more experience that you get, don't if you're being accused of something, don't talk to them unless you have counsel. Please stop. Don't don't open your mouth. You're not
That's why I call
smarter
you.
than them.
That's why I call
Yeah.
you.
Well, but legitimately, like, I mean, in any situation, right? Um, I look, I have really good friends in law enforcement, but the reality is, it's not as if I've never been pulled over for a speeding ticket, right? Um, just generally speaking, if you ever get into situations where allegations are being cast against you, please say as little as possible and lawyer up, because this is already national news.
Oh, it's
It's already
huge.
national
So
news. It's all over Twitter.
there's a report saying that he was forcefully asking, Muddy saying this, and I read this too, forcefully asking and requesting pics on Instagram, and then also liking and unliking pics so he wouldn't get caught. And I did read that and follow and unfollow them to kind of grab their attention, I guess. Again, none of those things go back to being illegal, weirdo behavior.
Totally.
It's just,
Right.
but
Like,
again, you can prove
who
if there's one photo, if there's one comment and, and he's in some chick's DM saying, "Hey, can you send me a photo of you?" That is more than enough for me. See you later, alligator.
Oh,
And
in
if they could,
terms of his job? In terms of his job?
yeah, I don't care about the legal shit. They'll figure that part out. I'm more
Yeah.
just concerned about how and what does this do for Strickland? Because here's the other thing. I don't know if you know this, and this show is brought to you by Johnson and Johnson. I'm kidding. That was wrong time. There is possible reports that it was known about back in April that everyone
That
had already known, like Strickland knew about this, and I guess did their own investigation and moved past it. And now there seems to be that the complaint that you read was from September 27th. So it leads me to believe the girls felt that, hey, that this was mishandled, and we want to refile something else. And if that's the case, that's where I'm more looking at. Again, I think Todd's gone. I think there's no question with that. But how does this look for Florida, and how does it look for Strickland?
I mean, I don't pretend to hold myself out as sort of a PR person. I would think I agree with you 100% that if there is tangible, admissible evidence of impropriety, the things that we've discussed here, whether it's sending pictures, talking via direct messages, like you're fired. Like, that's just unfortunate. Dude, you can't do that, guys.
Makes zero sense
Um,
to me, dude. The guy's getting 18 million over 6 years. What are you doing?
dude, like, what do you? And you know this. Well, no, I'm not going to say that because this is being. I think Florida needs to act swiftly. Um, I think the media and the social media world has a very, very short term memory,
Yeah, very sure.
right? How many stories exist right now nationally about Rashada?
Gone. Gone with the wind.
In Yeah, like so if you're Florida, look,
Bro, the
sever
election was
tie
Tuesday.
quickly.
We've already forgot.
Right, right. Well, well,
Yeah.
I'm in California. It's a
Yeah.
little the pill may be a little bit easier to swallow in Florida, but whatever.
It's dried, boys, over here. It's dried. But you know what I'm saying? Like nationally, I feel like it's
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
totally.
it's moved on. It's old
Right.
news. It was so
So
yesterday.
that's my
So last year.
right. So that's the point. Like, look, if you're Florida, just again, I'm being an attorney here. If you like, due process still needs to occur, right? Is there evidence? Is it admissible? Even if it's not admissible, like, is it credible, right? And if it is, let's act swiftly, um, and move on. Which sucks though is I feel like Florida, like I was joking about with you earlier, was the basketball program was going like this. We've got a literal saint as our head coach. I don't know if you watched that Georgia game when he was upset on the sideline. You could read his lips Billy Napier was yelling that the call was, quote, bull crap, because we can't swear on the sidelines. That's what kind of guy Billy is. You got to love that about him, right? Like there's no doubt about what kind
Well,
of,
that's why I
if
said
these allegations.
I said at the beginning of the show, I said Todd's got that dog in him, clearly. Well, he's winning football games, but just not the right kind of, you just use it the wrong way. But we need some Billy to have some more killer instinct. But clearly there's some baggage that comes when you're a killer, apparently.
Dude, oh man. You know what though? You know what's gonna get lost in all this? This situation sucks. Not only like look, assuming that Todd did these things, like that's on you, sir. Like you made your bed, you got to sleep in it. But like his wife, his kids, these poor girls that this all occurred. Like this doesn't. I feel like a lot of that gets lost when these stories break. These are human beings. These are people that when they made this complaint, clearly I don't think that they wanted any national attention about this, right? Nobody, unless you're looking for a paycheck.
You
but
have
I don't
to know it's going to come, though.
Yeah, and that may be. Yeah, it sucks because you need to take these allegations seriously. You do. And that's why, like, this is all pure speculation, right? Like,
Yep.
we can sit here and speak hypothetically about what to do, assuming X, Y, and Z. But if we don't know what X, Y, and Z is, it's hard to do A, B, and C in response. Flip that, reverse it. It probably should have been A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Anyway, I don't really know if I'm giving the greatest legal advice, but.
No, I think it's been helpful. I think the biggest thing we were wondering is like, why hasn't he been arrested? I think you answered that part of it. Again, and somebody says, has he been?
Like it's very simple. If you're going to arrest him, you have to have a charge. Is it stalking? What are the elements of stalking in the state of Florida? If it's harassment, what are the elements of harassment, and can you do that? There's no doubt. Well, I would hope that this has been sent to the local district attorney's office, right? They're the ones that have the power to prosecute these things. And if they think that there's enough evidence, then they'll prosecute. If they don't, they won't. I think.
Go ahead.
No, if they're going to, they will, and if they won't, they won't. I just think Florida should. Everyone's entitled to due process. I think Florida, though, if it were me, and again, I'm not in any way, shape condoning or saying one way or the other what happened, assuming arguendo that pictures were shared and harassment did occur. I think that you need to act very swiftly as the university. I think that you need to handle your business. He's out. You need to get out in front of it. I'm sure that they have some PR machine. And they have experts about what to put out. Put it out there, and then let the social media generation do what it's going to do, which is like this is going to be yesterday's news. Not for those poor girls, and certainly not for Todd, but for
the university.
The national media.
Yeah, the university needed to get it behind him. I agree. So somebody asked, like, has he been proven guilty yet? Look, no, there's, like I said at the beginning of the show, there's three sides: the truth, their side, and his side. But the fact of the matter is that there's just, again, if there's an ounce of this truth, if there's an ounce of truth to this, then you move forward. I just feel like, given the fact that this seems to be the second complaint or doubling down back onto this, does not look good. And I think that's kind of what it boils down to.
You don't want a Penn State. You don't want Florida being the next Penn State.
Yeah. It's not fun. And I think Gennaro says it best, as Florida should suspend Todd immediately and pay pending investigation. I feel like this is kind of what you said, is the university needs to get ahead of this, of like, these are serious allegations. Also keep in mind, I mentioned this at the top of the show, the Alligator, I believe that's the journal or the news source that dropped this information, is a very credible source. They're not just like as if I went and read it, like if I released it and I just did a few Twitter things and kind of talked about things, which that's how some people do release news. They also released an article about Ben Sass, our previous president, some fishy situations with him shortly after he stepped down. due to his wife. And I'm not saying his wife's not sick, but it's a little, you can kind of put the two together. Usually when there's smoke, there's fire, and these guys try to save face when they're that high up, and they allow those guys to do those things. I imagine Todd's going to kind of, like you said, walk away. This will be handled outside the national media, and then it'll kind of be forgotten about. But I don't think he'll rep the University of Florida ever again.
No, and I would imagine he may probably sort of fade into the background and get a job, maybe as an assistant at some Southwest Podunk U. It's very unfortunate. Is he really getting 18 mil? What is he getting paid?
Yeah, 18 mil over 6 years. We're just. I mean, I would assume we would not have to pay that out though. So.
No, I feel very confident this would probably be for cause. I'm sure he has a for cause clause in his contract. He probably lost his golden parachute for sure. So kudos to you, Mr. Golden. Oh, his last name is
fine choice of words there with Golden. I mean, it just
that was unintentional, but freaking amazing.
You guys are killing it. Boys, we have 370 strong and only 91 likes. I mean, I'm not hurt, I'm just upset. Just disappointed that we can't get over 100 likes here, boys and girls.
I tried to like earlier, but I wasn't actually signed in, and YouTube didn't like that.
Fair
Maybe
enough.
I can.
Well, Callie Burbia, I appreciate you as always. I feel like this always comes in perfect timing when there's who knew that Florida would be in these lawyer predicaments and that we would be. Thankfully, I watched Suits earlier this year. Thankfully, we have you as our on the staff high top sports lawyer to be able to come in and do these things. I didn't think that you would be on payroll this often. I'm going to go out of business by keeping you on this payroll, but it's a busy year.
I appreciate screen time. I'm semi-famous now in my own house. Every time my wife comes through this door, if she hears me, if I'm looking at the computer, she's terrified that I'm on your show. So she has to give me the look like, can I come in? Yes, babe. You can come in. So
it's not
fine.
high. It's
always
not high
happy.
Today.
Always happy.
Not on TV today. Tell the wife we appreciate her for allowing you to be on our show. We thank her.
I will do so. I will do so.
All right, man. Well, thank you. You have a good night. Sleep tight. And
yeah, man.
Well, it's only 6 o'clock there for you, but hey, we'll see you tomorrow, big guy. Thank you.
Yeah, go Gators.
Go Gators. Well, boys and girls, everybody there, our insider, lawyer, expertise, dialed in. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Well, boys and girls, we've got a big game tomorrow. 85% of the team is out due to injury. That should be fun to watch tomorrow. DJ Lagway, game time decision. I believe for my I've got a hunch, not going to play. But we'll see. Damian George, Badger, the two big ones that are out. That's no fun. Badger, obviously, our wide receiver. Damian George, right guard. Right guard's huge. Wide receiver-wise, I think we got some talent there. I know we have some talent in the offensive line room, but we're down David Manuel as well. So we're beaten up, boys. We are beaten up. We are down to the nitty-gritty here. So I wonder if that was a cause for DJ. That could be a reason for DJ not to play. The line's going to be a little bit weaker. Who knows? This show, of course, was brought to you by BetUS. Be sure to check out BetUS.com. Get in on this action while you can. I like the over-under there. Go to BetUS.com. Use code YouTube150. Get back 150% on your first deposit, 125 on your second two. These odds, you like them. I like the total. I like the over-under. It's kind of sexy. Thank you guys for liking the video, as always. We'll see you tomorrow morning. We're going to do a little pregame show like we've been doing. It's going to be different from the previous Saturdays. We're changing up a little bit. We're trying some new things here. So, super chat here, $2 from Brian771. The curse of Marco Wilson has crossed over. Yeah, it's thick, boys. It's thick. Y'all be good, be safe. Game time tomorrow, noon kickoff. Like and subscribe. Shows, of course, brought to you by BetUS. See you, boys.